Welcome to the Blue Cafe. Today we have the latest update for the brutal story of my wife, my first love, first partner, and best friend unexpectedly has been cheating on me. Update starts at 32 minutes and 26 seconds. Now on to the story. How do you influence someone to see a psychiatrist if you think they are bipolar? Advice needed. I strongly believe my wife is bipolar. Even further because her dad also mentioned that he believed she had it. We experienced her first serious episode a couple weeks back, but both her family and her are against going to the psychiatrist for an evaluation. They believe marriage counseling is what we need and that will solve the problems. However, the actions and events that happened, I am confident were not because of anything within our marriage but rather something else. She recently lost her grandmother and her father was diagnosed with a serious condition. Are there any tips that you guys have used that have worked in convincing your so to seek help? If your so is okay with counseling, go. Preferably a counselor, psychiatrist who is educated in mental illness. Beyond that, all you can do is up your trust level. Don't accuse your so of being bipolar, say let's go work on our relationship. Good luck. My boyfriend and I started going to couples therapy with a psychologist and she recommended that he get a psych eval because she believes he's bipolar, certain behaviors, and his dad is bipolar, too. So maybe couples counseling could help. You can try to gateway via counseling, but she'll probably fire any counselor that mentions medications. I would find a community with lithium naturally in the water and then find a way to move there. Out of the blue, my wife has ghosted me. Seeking advice. It started Friday. We haven't had any real big issues in our 1.5 years of marriage and 4 years of dating, and Friday seemed like a normal day. She went to work, but never came home and left me with a text about spending the night by herself because she was feeling strange. She ended up sleeping in her car in an abandoned lot somewhere. Fast forward to Saturday morning and she comes home and basically tells me that we can't be together and doesn't see a future with me anymore, all while still telling me she loves me and cares about me. Sunday goes by and I try to be understanding, but she still wants to distance herself, and in our discussions there is no rational thought behind any of the reasons she is giving me. I ask Monday morning that she please doesn't do what she had done on Friday. Again she doesn't answer texts, and when she eventually comes home I realize I have been blocked in her phone. She says she needs to stay at a friend's house for the night and she scheduled counseling for us the next day. The next day rolls around and an hour before our session she says she is going out of state to stay with her parents. Then she doesn't show up at the counseling session. She then took $1,000 out of our account via Venmo and took all the cash in the house, deleted Facebook, and is not responding through any medium. Luckily I have a pretty good relationship with her parents and they are relaying to me that she is safe, but it is still such a horrible feeling to be in this state. My wife has no job, no money, and no possessions outside of our marriage, so I do not understand why she would leave a great house, a supportive husband, and even our dog at this time. I am wondering if anyone else has had a similar situation. There is no thought or reasoning behind any of these decisions and I do not know what to do except be patient. We have had the best marriage up to this point and the last 4 days have been completely out of the blue and it is wrecking our lives. Please help if you have any suggestions. Update: my worst nightmare has come true. I have information that suggests she has been cheating on me. While it could be part of the bipolar symptoms, hypersexuality, it explains so much behind this whole situation. I still don't understand why she would do this. It's hurtful and deceitful. What should I do now? I'm sure sleeping in a car in an abandoned lot is a cover story for this and her attempts to distance herself and cut me off. Update: she is finally communicating with me again, thank goodness. She says that I am being controlling by asking for her to promise to come home after she ghosted me on Friday. She even took videos of our discussions that she believes I am controlling in our conversations. Never heard this from her previously, but I see no sense of being controlling in the videos. Also mentioned that she collapsed from anxiety that Monday at work and had to be taken to the hospital. All unbeknownst to me. My question, is it controlling to ask your spouse to promise you something? And even if I am controlling, which I don't for a second believe, does that warrant a response for her to completely cut off communication without letting me know why? While it is good she is speaking to me again, it still seems she is being very selfish and that she hasn't finished her episode yet, if ever. Trying to be patient, but this is really tough. Saying she's bipolar is right on the money. I have had similar issues. Mania and excitement about getting a job, then anxiety and depression having to deal with the people at the job. I even left a few times in my first marriage because I had no idea what was happening to me, I couldn't control it, and my ex was not supportive, so that didn't help at all. As hard as it is to deal with, if you love her, try to get her some help and also get some therapy for yourself. Thank you for your reply. Where is the best place to get help? A general doctor? A certain type of therapist? A chaplain? I would say a psychologist could pinpoint exactly what's going on and treat her for it. Likely a combination of therapy and medication. So a little update on the job history, since I didn't explain it very well. She has had 5 jobs in the 4 years I have known her, none lasting longer than a year before she quits or gets fired. I have always been supportive of her when she would start complaining about the jobs, but this time I told her that it was necessary she works it out, made her face her problem, or this cycle would continue. In hindsight, from what I am reading about bipolar disorder, this is exactly a manic-depressive cycle. Mania when starting a new job, depression a few months into it, and mania again chasing after the next job. I had to protect myself because the cycle of her emotions surrounding work was something I was not happy about. However, I wish I would have known it is a mental disorder so that I could have sought professional help. Her new thing is that she wants to be a Coast Guard or Air Force pilot, but she previously told me she has no desire to join the military, so obviously I was very confused. Did your wife recently suffer a trauma? Miscarriage, assault, rape, death of a loved one, an accident, etc.? Could she have without you knowing? Does she suffer from mental health problems? If this really is out of character for her, something is going on that you don't know about. You need to find out what, so hopefully you can help her. Good luck. My wife, my first love, first partner, and best friend unexpectedly has been cheating on me, absolutely heartbroken. Rant. My wife, 28, of 2 years has done a complete 180 in the past few weeks. She went from someone who was loving, focused on starting a family, and completely trustworthy to someone who has lied, deceived me, and blames me for her infidelity. It all started 3 weeks ago. I was riding high, I thought our relationship was going great. We were talking about getting another dog and our honeymoon plans, since COVID wrecked the initial plans. Then Friday hit, I could sense something was up and even mentioned it to my mother on the phone. I don't know what's going on, I just have a bad feeling about my wife, I said. Then that night she texts me, I just need some space tonight, I know you won't like it but please respect my decision. She then proceeded to turn off her phone and she says she slept in her car in a vacant lot. When she came home I was understanding but stern that this sort of thing could never happen again, but she had completely changed her mindset on life itself, no kids, career focused, and wanted out of the relationship. The most telling thing she said was, I fear that we will cheat on each other in the future. What? Who says something like that, completely out of the blue? Many things happened since then, including her leaving the state for 2 weeks because she needed space. While she was gone I put a GPS tracker on our car, that I own. Last night I found that she had spent the night at her instructor's house after going to a movie theater. I also found a picture of the two of them. The worst part is, I was the one who has encouraged her in this career and she never would have met the guy if I didn't introduce them. I have yet to confront her, but I am currently putting all the puzzle pieces together about this whole situation. She is basically blaming me for all these issues that we are suddenly dealing with, saying she doesn't like the way I talk to her, I'm controlling, and I call her names. I have done deep soul searching these past few weeks to try and understand what I could have done to cause this, but her accusations are unfounded. I encouraged her to get mental health, which in her mind equated to calling her names. I stressed the importance of communication when she shut off her phone, but she says that is controlling, even though I didn't stop her from spending 3+ weeks away from home. Finally, she has these recordings of me, without my knowledge, and thinks that they are proof that I mentally abuse her. I played these for my counselor and he disagreed that there was any sort of abuse in the recordings and was actually impressed with how calm and collected I was in the discussion. Anyways, none of these things are excuses for cheating and the way she has been treating me. I guess I am at the investigation stage still, trying to let her make her own choices and I'll gather the data. It's tough though, and the person I once loved more than anything has completely wrecked our entire life together in 3 short weeks. I am at a loss for words how I feel right now. I've got a great support system and loving parents, but now I know how heartbreak feels and I never want to feel this way again. Call a divorce attorney. Take steps to protect your finances. Stop gathering evidence, she's already left you for Pete's sake. Develop a workable exit strategy. Come to grips with the fact that your marriage is over and start protecting yourself, and to hell with her. Good luck. I say gather evidence because I am 95% certain right now, but I haven't put the entire puzzle together yet. I guess a question would be, does closure help? Does it help to know the backstory, how long these things have been going on, etc., or is it better just to cut ties and go? I don't want to sound in denial, but it's all so sudden and I just feel like I need to process what actually just happened. It's a complete whirlwind of emotions for me right now. Closure is a fairy tale to keep betrayed spouses trapped in limbo. You find closure when you find the courage to put your cheater behind you, and keep them there, and rebuild yourself and your new life without them. Don't look to your WS for closure. All she has to offer you is blame shifting and a curated rewriting of history. Dude, spot on. I've never gotten closure in my past relationships and am okay from it all. Best way to confront a cheating wife? Update. Above is the link to my story. TLDR, my wife of 1.5 years has been cheating on me with her flight instructor. I've done some deep soul searching and realized that it's because I didn't emotionally give in when she pleaded to take out a $50,000 loan so she could pursue an aviation career. Obviously Mr. Instructor gave in to her emotional side and I have evidence of the affair now. Update on me, I had a very rough weekend and it was tough being alone and without a family present to help heal, but I had some great phone conversations with friends and family who are all incredibly angry at her selfish actions. I'm down almost 10 pounds, having a hard time eating, and it is tough to get out of the bed in the mornings. However, I am keeping myself busy by working out and playing with my dog a lot. The first time I actually broke down was when she asked what we should do with our dog. He's been my only consoling partner through it all and I can't see him with her. One of the things that really helped was to see people angrier than me when I told them about the affair smile. All in all, I'm actually doing well and I understand it's all part of the grief process. It helps to know that I value myself, know that it's not my fault, and to not compare myself to the other guy. She is coming home this week with her parents to take her stuff out of the house. She already said she wants out of the marriage. I do too. I still have yet to confront her about the affair and I am racking my brain trying to think of the words and place to say it. Do I do it in front of her parents? Do I do it with her alone? Do I spill out my heart or do I say a simple "I know what you are doing"? Ultimately it is up to me and my decision, but what has worked/not worked in the past for everyone here. Edit, we are not in an at fault state. She tried to take you for $50,000 already. Get all your ducks in a row, file for at fault divorce if it's an option where you are, and consult a lawyer. It may be best to hold back what you know. If you're forced to go before a judge, keep your evidence. If adultery matters, let her lie to the judge, she will, before letting them know what you know. If she gets caught lying to the court, it will make a judge's decision really easy. If adultery doesn't matter in your state, you may still want to hold back what you know. She might be easier to deal with in the divorce while she's still in the fog, and a confrontation could shake her out of that. Yup. Some states infidelity is a bar to alimony and drastically changes how marital property is divided. Definitely consult an attorney. Be the pilot and drop a nice GBU-24 guided bomb on her when her parents are there. Ha ha ha, I love this comment. Better yet, a GBU-28. Confronting my wife about the affair was the best thing I did, thanks to everyone who has been helping me. Update: first post. Second post. So this is my third update about the situation. I want to thank everyone here for helping immensely. I was alone for weeks, but this sub has really helped me out, and it has been very helpful to follow the advice of everyone here. TLDR, finally had a discussion with my wife, but she insisted her parents be in the room. We talked and she was nasty to me and showed not one bit of remorse or empathy even when I broke down spilling my heart out to her. The next day she went to my house. I finally was able to be alone with her. I confronted her about the inappropriate relationship. She again got her parents involved and her mom defended the affair with ridiculous excuses. Currently no contact with her, but I have seen a change. Read more at end. The shift has happened. I went 180 on her after I found out about the affair, and she has started to flounder. Her parents came to town last Wednesday and I finally was able to get her to have a discussion with me. I decided against revealing the affair with her parents in the room, but I caught her in multiple lies in our discussion. My tone was calm and very apologetic for the things she accused me of. The discussion was very hurtful as she was essentially saying ever since the day we got married I haven't treated her right and she has wanted out. She never mentioned this to me our entire relationship until now. She continued to accuse me of essentially emotionally abusing her by twisting my words from our previous discussions, and luckily my mother was there and my mom ended up calling her out on her lies, because my mom was in some of those discussions she was referencing. The two biggest things that kept me strong through that discussion were 1. Not expecting any sort of reconciliation or remorse. 2. Having a plan of attack for the encounter. My goals in that discussion were twofold. Publicly, in front of her parents, reveal how childish and mentally unfit she is when she is making these wild accusations while protecting my character. Stress to her father the need to get her to a therapist or counselor and have her work on her issues. The discussion ended with my wife storming out of the room with her mother and the father stayed behind with me and my mom. His emotions were genuine and very telling about the whole situation. He sat there and the first words out of his mouth were a tearful, "I'm sorry man," a father looking for answers as well. He told me this hurts right now because he considers me, his son, and I always will. This obviously made me very emotional as I told him, "I love your daughter and I just want her to be healthy, but at this point I just need to let her go." I told him about the affair and what I knew, and he understood where I was coming from. I stressed the need for her to have consequences for her actions as she has had none so far. Even further I stressed the need for her to see a therapist. He said he agreed and that he has been trying to get her to go, to no avail. Because of my two goals above, even though this discussion was not all peaches, it satisfied what I went there to do and I actually felt much better knowing that I had a father-in-law who understands what is going on. Then the next day came, I went home from work and my wife was moving some of her things out of the house. I wanted to be there so that I could make sure she didn't steal anything of mine. I actually fixed a part on her car and we had a calm talk about her future plans, etc. She told me she was going to keep working, for how much time she has left the job. I can't believe they are keeping her around. She said she is going to try and earn her ratings and wants to become a flight instructor. Wonder why, lol. I asked where she was going to live. She said an RV park, and my parents are going to give me their RV. At this point I told her, I just don't understand why you are doing all this, it doesn't make any sense. She said, I'm just so happy at the place where she works. I then asked, I just want to know, are you having an inappropriate relationship with AP? Wouldn't look me in the eye and say, no, of course not. I told her I knew and had evidence. I mentioned a couple of events. What were you doing last Wednesday night? Who did you talk to for 90 minutes at 11 p.m. when you were at a bachelorette party in June? I then showed her one call record and she actually openly showed me it was AP's number in her phone by typing it out, haha. She kept deflecting the accusation, I didn't have sex, check my VA, I don't even like sex, she does, he works weird hours / I had a question about flying. I stayed strong and calm and told her it gets easier if she tells the truth. I was witnessing a 28-year-old woman acting like a child who was just caught in a lie. The real kicker came when she asked if I wanted to get her parents involved. I questioned why she would do that, but I said okay. Immediately, before I even showed any evidence, her mom starts making excuses for her daughter. Maybe it was a dare call. This was already after you were having problems, isn't it? No, it wasn't. I calmly said to her mother, can you look at this objectively and tell me there was no inappropriate relationship going on? Her mom refused to answer and said I was trying to manipulate her into saying something just like I manipulated her daughter. When they ran out of excuses, all three of them stormed out of my house and her mom said, I hope you don't treat the next girl like you did my daughter, and then literally said, mic drop lololol. What a screwed up family dynamic. Her dad said nothing the whole time, and I could see he is absolutely beside himself in dealing with both of them. Eventually, my wife sent a text to me saying AP is one of my very best friends. I was really hurting, and we were separated at the time. No, we weren't, basically admitting to the cheating. She said she wants to talk with me about it with her lawyer in the room. I told her that I wouldn't recommend getting lawyers involved, seeing as she has committed multiple felonies by recording me without my consent. I haven't talked to her since Thursday, but the dynamics of the situation have been hugely shifted, and I couldn't have done it without the help of everyone on here. The last thing I mention, and it is probably pretty helpful in terms of where to go next. I noticed Sunday morning she went to church. She hasn't gone with me in a while, but we used to go all the time, and then took about a 500-mile drive to nowhere and then went back to her Airbnb. She hasn't had any suspicious activity, either out of caution now or realization of her transgressions. I do actually believe the fact that she didn't have sex, but it doesn't matter because I already have enough info, and don't need any more. I have already filed for divorce and she will be getting served within a week or two. 2 questions for how to handle the no contact. I would like to stay civil. I have been no contact, but should I reach out to her to have a discussion about our assets? I would like to, and I think she might be capable of a civil discussion. It would benefit both of us in lawyer fees and costs. If you have seen some of my previous posts, you might see that I think there is definitely some sort of mental illness with her, as she has suffered multiple serious traumas in her past. If she ends up apologizing at some point or changes her behavior, how can I go about getting her help while also protecting myself? She currently has healthcare through my job. Without it, she will not have healthcare. You might want to consider talking to a lawyer, even if you don't use one for the divorce. She's already gone after your money once, and given the horrible advice she'll get from her mother, there's little reason to think she won't try that again. I honestly wouldn't be shocked if you showed up at a meeting thinking you were going to hash out the details and discover she had already talked to one. If you understand the relevant laws, you'll be at an advantage, and if she's talked to one too, at least you won't be at a disadvantage. I've already spoken to a lawyer. I'm sure she has as well. It's also a no-fault state, so the advice I got is that it doesn't really matter about the infidelity. I'd just like to get this over with as quickly as possible and keep as much as I can. Fair warning, I'm not a shrink. However, I have had run-ins with a woman that likely had BPD, and another that had PTSD that resulted in BPD-like behaviors when she was under pressure and triggered. I think this is what's happening with your wife. My first wife spontaneously changed overnight. She claimed to have hated sex, too, but had sexual affairs. She was everybody's idea of a good girl, that had no problem lying, stealing, or manipulating. She dropped all of her friends the moment they questioned her on anything. Even the lifelong friends of hers from before we ever met would call me up and ask what was going on because she ignored them. She dropped most of her family as well. And our final interactions were spooky, to say the least. The last time we physically met up was in a restaurant. She told me we were over for good, and I accepted it. But I asked her for one thing out of respect for what we once had: just tell me what happened. I wouldn't argue or make a scene, I just wanted her to admit it. She got a glassy look in her eyes, told me that you always do this, you get me all mixed up in my head and I'm not doing it anymore, and she got up and left just like that. That look in her eye was someone I didn't recognize, someone that wasn't all there. She had dinner around the same time as our closest couple friends. My buddy asked her the same question. Just tell us why you're doing this. She got the same glassy look in her eye, said something similar, and walked out the door. Apparently she didn't even close it behind her. These rapid behavioral changes, total lack of accountability, ability to lie and inflict pain with no empathy or remorse. That's not normal. Shields up. Funnel everything through a lawyer. It could get a lot worse. Thanks man, this sounds exactly like what is going on. You hit the nail on its head. I just hope she gets help sooner rather than too late. Why do cheaters go after less attractive/successful people? Therapy. So I have been talking to family and friends a lot over this period, and one of my second cousins who I am really close to offered an interesting perspective. Basically, cheaters cheat because they are jealous of you and your success/attractiveness/charisma etc., and they want to take you down a peg because they are insecure about themselves. I think this is true in my scenario. My STBXW is very attractive, but has always struggled with her identity, holding down a job, and has had self-esteem issues. I never made this an issue and always encouraged her, celebrated her accomplishments, and told her how proud she should be of herself. I felt towards the end of our relationship she almost pitted herself against me. He or she is on your side, you just don't want me to be better than you, they're biased towards you, were all comments she made to me. I assured her that in a marriage you are a team and make decisions and communicate as a team would, and I'm not against her. Have you guys seen this in your situations? I just wonder why she is going after a much less attractive dude, who has a lot of debt, and isn't really anything special. Sometimes it's the 80-20 rule. You provide 80% of what they want in the relationship, but they are attracted by the 20% someone else provides and assume that they are going to be 100% without thinking that the 80% and 20% are incompatible. Example would be a man who has a partner who is a strong, independent, confident woman who makes her own money and treats him like an equal. He may love her and what she represents, but at the same time he might want someone who looks up to him, who is worse off than him, someone who worships the ground he walks on. The strong independent woman and the constant damsel in distress are incompatible. That's a funny hypothesis. In the real world she wouldn't treat him like an equal, but rather might be the one that leaves. The divorce rate for women that make more than their husbands is quite telling. Is that because she doesn't see him as an equal, or because many women consider divorce and women with careers are more able to leave without nuking their finances? I have grown to believe people don't affair down, they affair to their own level. It's just that they marry up but can't hold on for very long. Update 4, no contact, but now WS is threatening me. Update, the saga continues. Links to the previous 3 updates. First post. Second post. Third post. I have been no contact with my STBXW since about Thursday the 5th of August, basically 2 weeks. Since this time she has been served the divorce paperwork and responded via her lawyer. However, yesterday she tried contacting me, notifying me she knew how I found out about the affair. I did not and have not done anything illegal to catch her, and it must be driving her crazy that I have been no contact and she doesn't know how much info I know. She then threatened me, basically saying that if I don't tell her she will call the police/my commander. I'm in the military. This is a hollow threat because I have nothing to hide and I know it. However, I am concerned that she would mention this because I really don't want my career affected by this malicious person. I've contacted my lawyer and will give him a call later today asking how to proceed. This morning she sent another message asking for $1,000 for spousal support as well. I think she is trying to scare me into giving her money, but I know she is working a job and they are paying her currently. I also know she is staying at the house of the man she cheated on me with. Anyways, I'm staying strong, grey rock when contact is necessary and no contact everywhere else. I seriously think she may be a sociopath who feels absolutely no remorse about what she did and is frustrated that she has been caught in multiple lies. It also may just be the anger stage of grief as well. It all helps me to forget her faster and realize I'm better off without her. As a former soldier who went through something similar long ago, let the guys on base know what's going on. Tell your immediate superior and then ask if he'll tell the XO/go of the company, just to make sure everyone is in line and knows what's going on. I'm sure they have a script already. You're hardly the only soldier dealing with a crazy ex-wife. Also, get her base privs revoked so you can have a space away from her. Good luck. Thanks. I'm talking to my CC today about it all. I didn't really want to have to do that, but he seems like a good guy and we have a good relationship, so I'm sure he will understand. Believe me man, no one wants to deal with any of this, but if you get ahead of it, command generally wants their soldiers to be happy and motivated to work for them. If that includes stonewalling a philandering spouse, it's something easy they can do and costs no money. I was going to say the same thing. I'm not military, but people in my family were. Generally, they will have your back. I know it can be hard, but don't be embarrassed or afraid to talk to them. They are there to support you and they're not going to be shocked by anything you say. You will be okay. You are not alone. Wow. I just talked to him and he had the same thing happen to him about 12 years ago when he was in my shoes. I thought he was basically telling me the same story about how really similar it is. Anyway, he's got my back and we had an awesome discussion about all of it. Update 5, seeing her for the first time since I confronted her about the affair. Update TW, suicide, rape. Alright, since the last update I have had some good times and some sad times. However, day by day life gets better and I am looking forward to my new life. It's been almost a month since D-Day. Luckily I will be moving out of state soon and beginning an exciting new job so I can start fresh. On to the update. The good news, the threats and blackmail have stopped. You can read about those in my last update here. The bad news, she unblocked me on text and wants to see our dog at a local dog park. This was one of the things I told her I would be willing to let her do, and I don't want to stir the pot anymore for fear of more threats of calling the cops/my work/etc. Why do I say it's bad news? Well, the no contact has been working great so far. I have been hanging out with friends, focusing on myself, and really getting better each day. Once I agreed to let her see our dog, in a grey rock manner, the feelings started coming back. What if she wants to come back? Maybe she is realizing her mistake. Is she going to apologize? So I went paint shopping a bit, found her entire search history on our shared computer, and honestly I didn't find what I was expecting. Throughout the last year or so there were a ton of searches for stuff like, why do I shut down? Is suicide selfish? How to date a girl who has been raped. I was expecting a ton of searches for stuff pertaining to the affair, which maybe she deleted. Instead it was incredibly sad to see where her mind was. What is worse is that it took me back to the times when we talked for hours about these issues and we made so much progress in our relationship, and she developed good coping habits and routines, which she has completely abandoned during this debacle. Of course, after seeing these searches I felt sad for her and how broken of an individual she must really be. However, It also made me feel sorry for her again, which is directly opposed to this entire process of divorce and cutting off the relationship. I am still doing better than I was before, but now I will likely see her Saturday at the dog park and I am confused how to handle the situation. I do not want to reconcile this relationship at all, but it is incredibly clear that my STBXW is dealing with some serious mental issues that she has not addressed. The sad thing is I know she will not take this divorce well when everything falls apart and she realizes what she gave up on. I hope and pray that she does not take her life. I do know at this point there is nothing I can do except continue the no contact / grey rock during necessary contact, as she is not my responsibility anymore. I guess I am just looking for some support here. It would be a lot easier if she wasn't dealing with these mental issues / traumas and I could just easily break clean, and I would. However, it would be even worse on my conscience if I did no contact and she ended up becoming suicidal again. Before anyone comments, I know I made a mistake looking at her search history and pain shopping, but the wound is still fresh, less than 1 month since D-Day. I have basically blocked myself from going on social media right now and I still have not been reaching out to her / talking to her at all. I credit this sub for so much in the last month. You all have completely helped me throughout the toughest point in my life and I am forever grateful. I wish I could give you all a hug in person for helping me through this. If anyone else is dealing with something similar, feel free to reach out. I would highly recommend you have someone else meet her with the dog at the dog park. Do you have anyone you can trust who can meet her with the dog for a few hours for you? You should absolutely not see her. Don't set yourself back. Do not do it. Possibly, but I worry about her trying to take the dog or something. I know I am strong enough to not give in to the things she says and I will let her take the dog and go sit in my car if I have to. I just don't want her stealing him. Do you have it chipped by chance? If not, you can get it chipped under your name and then she's pretty legally out of luck. And you could wait in a car nearby. Yep, he is chipped. That's a good call. I edited my response and probably will wait in the car. Should still bring someone. Or if you can record it legally where you are. You still need to 100% look out for yourself, and being alone with her is a very bad idea anytime going forwards. If she knows you can see her searches, these may have been a sympathy ploy. Good point. I thought about this, but I think it is pretty clear that she doesn't know. She is very paranoid right now that I know everything she is doing. She asked if I hacked into her Airbnb account. I didn't. Asked me to unblock her on Venmo. I didn't block her, and she has basically searched for AP's address via Google too. Doubt she would want me seeing that. She was just careless by logging into her Gmail on our shared computer and never logging out. Like you said, she is not your responsibility anymore. She lost that privilege when she stepped out on the marriage. If she is or was in that bad of a mental state, then her first step should have been to come to you or see a therapist. Instead, she looked to outside companions and in the process ruined her marriage. She is now responsible for herself, and that's the choice she made. You are correct, people have mental issues, but they learn how to cope. While I thought she had good coping mechanisms, they were all messed up. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night. Wherever you are.